And here we are again, week unlucky number 13 of Birds Breakdown.
Let's go, baby.
You're here. Obviously, I am the Philly sports guy, and my main man over there, El Parcero, Philly.
Let's go, baby.
And we've got lots to talk about today.
Woo! This is the juiciest episode.
The world was asking for it, at least my world, which was Philadelphia. They were asking, when is it going to happen? When will it happen? And I was even fighting it myself. I'm like, I don't know that I wanted to do that, but here we are. We're in it, and we have started the controversy, the quarterback controversy of 2020. If 2020 couldn't get more,
I know
enough. Now we're back at it again, and with the quarterback controversy. And so, real quickly, let me get through what I got to get through real fast. Obviously, I am not at Tonic tonight because we're doing socially distanced things. So I am here at King Creative Studios in my office here, and as you kind of see, I've got a whole bunch of Eagle stuff. This is like the Philly sports guy office and my shrine over here. Also, I want to give to our sponsors, Wi-Fly, gluten-free, awesome internet, and of course, King Creative. Every story has got an audience. Let the Blue Lion tell yours. All right. And what do we got? What's the question of the day?
Who's going to start week 14?
That is correct. That is correct. It was bound to happen, and I tell you what, it had to happen. It had to happen.
Yeah.
It was getting bad. It was getting very bad, and I just you knew that. Like I almost expected that he wasn't even going to start the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's. But he did. They gave him a shot to start out, maybe coming in a little bit stronger, and he didn't do it. And next thing you know, here comes Hurts.
And there was a spark. We saw a little spark in the Eagles' offense, and they scored a little bit. Obviously, he scored a touchdown, and then Jalen Reagor, which we should get to in a second. But Jalen stepped up, Philly sports guy.
He did a little bit. I will say that when he came out and ignited that spark a little bit, the first thing that I thought of was that spark kind of expressed to me that the receivers were not getting open.
Mm-hmm.
They were not yet, like that fact that he had to run for 2 first downs. It was a very decisive. It was like he made a decision, like, okay, we got to run. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't stick here. I've watched it too long now, but it's like, it's time to move forward. And that's what he did.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're obviously going to get into a lot of the QB controversy. I'm sure with our special guest today, we're going to really dive into it, but again, it's just every single week we're here talking about the same bullcrap from the same football team every single week. The play calling was dull at best, right? We can't play a complete game. Like in the first quarter, the offense and the defense both started off really strong, really fast. I like the play calling in that first drive. You saw some running plays. You saw a lot of 12 personnel. Jordan Howard got some carries. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. Actually, 3 weeks ago, he was rumored to come back to Philly. He then gets activated, and then we finally get to see him. And I was really good to see him because he, again, what I told you, the ability of having that power back who can fight for those extra yards, that is super crucial, and that was great to see. But then, bad play. First, Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers, he is. Listen, it sucked that he did it against our team, right? But he is something else to watch, really. At the age that he's doing it, his chemistry with Devontae Adams, you really envy that as an Eagles fan. And he turned up. The Eagles defense tried their best to try to keep up, but that is so hard to do, especially when the offense is not giving you anything. And the offensive play calling again was dull. After that first good drive, they kind of went away from the running game again. Carson Wentz got harassed. He was pressured all night long, pretty much, and it's just like it's the same every week. Carson, and everyone's wondering why Carson's not playing to his best ability. Again, a lot of it is his fault, but like after a certain amount of time, like you're getting smacked around by grown ass men, like you are also gonna be feeling rattled back there. I don't care how much money you're making, I don't care how big you are, it's bound to happen. But credit Doug, I guess, for be getting those big balls again and saying, listen, we can't keep dragging Carson out there and him just stalling out there. Let's just try with Jalen. He created a spark. We had an opportunity to win, but we just couldn't get it done. But whether Carson or Jalen starts next week, I just don't see much difference. I still seeing the same dull play calling. I still see the same mental mistakes week in and week out. But I mean, it's so tough because you see talent on this team, but again, we can't put a complete performance together.
Yeah, and that's and it looked very promising to start. It was like they went 13 plays to go 41 yards, which it sounds ridiculous, but that was kind of what they needed to do and just continue with that 7.5 minutes or 7 minutes and 10 seconds on that first drive. And like I said, they didn't go very far. They were very meticulous on how they did it. They ran the ball a lot. They got 3 points. Aaron Rodgers goes out there and lost, punt. So the game started out exactly how we wanted it to start out, and then it just fizzled from there. It was like they forgot what it was that got them there. So it really kind of bothered me that was just like, why go away from what it is that was working just a few seconds ago? Like you did this, and it was I don't know who called the plays. I don't think it matters.
That's another thing.
I think that when it all is said and done, that this team just doesn't have it this year.
No.
They don't have it this year. The offensive line, I tell you, Jason Peters should retire today. I tell you, this year has cost him his first ballot Hall of Fame.
You really think so? My God.
I think so. I think it took away his first ballot. I think that he tried to it's hard to say I'm done. It's hard to say I'm done.
Just ask Brett Favre, right?
And ultimately, it's like you gotta know now. Like he wasn't hurt. They're saying, oh yeah, he's nursing that injury. He ain't nursing anything. He's nursing his ego and his pride because his butt's getting whooped. Butt's getting whooped. He stopped.
You know what the worst part about it is back-to-back weeks, right? We're facing off against, lower the level defenses in the NFL, and yet back-to-back weeks we make them look like top 10 defenses. And that to me is the worst part. And like you just don't expose the weaknesses. Like you just want to do this game plan. It feels like you're not even studying the tape. And onto your point about, the play calling, you watch this Eagles offense and you're like thinking to yourself, who's calling the play? Like you don't know at any time who it is calling the play. Maybe if it's a hurry up offense, you might think that Scangarello has, the imprint on there. But like, is it Doug? Is it Scangarello? Is it Press Taylor? And it's frustrating for the fan because you don't know who to hold accountable. When, again, you're seeing the same issues, the same dull play calling. Carson's lost. Carson's getting destroyed. This offensive line is not playing well as a cohesive unit, and you just don't know who to hold accountable, and that's frustrating.
Exactly, and it's hard. It's hard to just what happens now. Like what happens now? Like I can't play to lose. I can't play to lose, but it doesn't matter that we aren't trying to, we aren't trying to go any further. You know what I mean? That's the hard part about this.
Oh, what do you got? What do you got?
Fresh back from his there he is, the king himself, Kyle Carberry.
What's up, baby?
What's up, guys? Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you perfect. Congratulations, brother. On your wedding, you got the better half. You definitely outkicked that coverage. I tell you, man. I don't know how ugly guy like you can find somebody as sweet looking as that, but God bless you.
I don't know, man. I don't know how I did it, to be honest with you.
You must be a good dancer.
Yeah, not really. Not really.
But so I tell you what, we'll talk about you in a little bit, you and your special, and like I said, your better half now. But first off, I mean, since you've been gone, they've only lost 2 games.
Not
bad. And now there is a quarterback controversy.
This is weird.
So, let's hear what you got to say. Let's hear what you got to think about what had happened.
Yeah, so obviously Carson Wentz did not play well yesterday in the first half. That's been the trend all year. And I think he did deserve to be benched. I mean, we do remember the day back in the day when McNabb got benched, and he actually responded well. That game against the Ravens where Reed benched him, he responded well. Wentz, with the post-game interview, he said he did not like being benched. The competitor and him did not like being benched. So we'll see if he has the same response. We'll see if he's starting next week. I think personally that Doug Peterson's going to start Hurts this week, but I'm not sure about the rest of the season. But we have a lot of money committed to Wentz, a lot of money. He's a big cap hit next year. So we're going to see what happens. I mean, it's a whole dumpster fire, to be honest with you. I mean,
yeah,
what he decides to do, because ultimately it's going to be his decision if Doug Peterson stays, if Howie Roseman stays, and if Wentz stays, honestly.
Not even Daryl Morey can get rid of that Carson Wentz contract, guys.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like I said, even if they trade him, they're going to have to eat $40 million, and a year where the cap is only going to be $175 million, or maybe even a little less. $40 million is just too much to try to eat. However, will it matter anyways? See, then it becomes that thought process. Like you're going to have him, or you're not going to have him. It's going to be what, 60 million or 40 million. Do you just eat the 40 million? You know what I mean? And just go with Jalen, and then of course then you got our, the third string, second string, whatever he is. He's not even suiting up, all the time. Sudfeld. You know what I mean? So it's like you still got him on the team. You know what I mean? So if you're going to try to cut ties, because ultimately there's somebody out there that would maybe give.
My worst case scenario is Carson Wentz, Frank Reich going out there, making a trade for Carson Wentz, giving up a second-round pick or something like that, the same round we used on the Jalen Hurts, and him teaming back up with Carson Wentz and him and Frank Reich winning Super Bowls for the next 10 years. That would haunt me.
I mean, but that's what you would expect, right? Like I feel like if he's probably going to be gone, right? If not, obviously not next year, but the following. But if he leaves,
he's going to be here for 2 more years. I mean, there's a big cap hit either way.
Whenever that day, if that day ever happens, like he's going to succeed somewhere else, and that is what I am worried about. Letting another player leave here and succeed somewhere else, like that haunts me.
Well, that shouldn't haunt you. That tells me that it's coaching. Then that goes right to the heart of coaching. So, and I already feel that way about the defense. So it's like I said, when I listened to 2. Of course, he spoke on WIP this morning, Doug, and then I listened to his second pod, his press conference at noon, because I was really interested to hear what he had to say. And he said specifically, he did a couple of things that I was really interested in. One, he said the decision on who's going to be the quarterback is going to be solely his. He's not going to care about talking to anybody else. It's his decision, and now he's going to be the one that makes it. And the other thing that I saw is that he is looking a little defeated. Looking a little defeated. And I feel like that there's a lot going on behind the scenes here a little bit. But I feel that when you watched him come off the field, when I say him, I mean Hurts, come off the field, he went to Doug, and Doug and him were talking. Every time you watch Wentz come off the field, he goes to the bench. And I'm wondering if this is a personality conflict. I'm wondering now. Now I'm starting to wonder if there's a lot of plays being called at the line of scrimmage instead of what Doug is calling, and Doug is taking the rap for it, but it's all being changed by Carson Wentz.
That's been a criticism we've been hearing in the media, especially. And I don't know. I mean, Doug Peterson says it's his decision, but it's Jeffrey Lurie's decision that Doug Peterson's going to be here at the end of the year. So ultimately, this is all going to fall on Jeffrey Lurie either now or later. But again, time will tell. Time's undefeated. So we will all get an answer eventually.
We're going to get to Jeffrey here in a minute, too. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dale. Go ahead,
no, but how do we get here? Like, how did we get? Like, we literally were celebrating down Broad Street 3 years ago, and now, like, this feels like a soap opera. I feel like I'm watching a novella with my mom right now, with watching the Eagles. Like, it's drama every week, and now you add this QB controversy, which had to happen. Of course, when you don't play well, repercussions have to happen. And I Kyle brings up a point that a lot of Philly sports fans do bring up. Back in 08, when we did bench Donovan McNabb in the Baltimore game for Kevin Cobb. I think the difference here is Donovan at that point, I feel like was just, he was just off. Like, he was in a slump. Carson, to me, this is more mental. I don't know if Carson has that same mental toughness that Donovan had at that point to bounce back and put together 4 wins here. The Giants, made it harder for us to actually get a chance to win a division if we had a chance by beating the Seahawks yesterday. So now the Giants have 5 wins. We have 3 wins. That we have to at least win 3 games in the next 4. And you're talking about playing New Orleans, Arizona, Dallas, and DC. So this is going to be tough. I just want to, like the Philly sports guy says every week, all I want to see is some heart. I want to see some fight. What happened this season, it already happened. But you can control what happens in the next 4 games. Go out there, fight for your job essentially. Because listen, if we go 0-4, if we go 0-8 in the second half of the season, best believe there's going to be more than a couple people losing their jobs, guys.
Well, yeah. Well, and
not just head coaching and front office. We're talking like players too.
Well, I mean that can't happen. That can't happen. They're going 0-8. I mean, first off, let's hope that there's going to be some fans in the stands. You know what I mean? That's because ultimately I feel like that
they need you. They need you. They need you screaming at them.
Oh my Lord! In the biggest way, but they don't just need me; they need everybody else too, as well.
Like Philadelphia,
they needed. So I think that this could have happened faster if Philadelphia was there in the stands. You know what I mean? That's the hard part with this. Like, it's the fact that it's been quiet stadiums that the team doesn't get to hear. You know what I mean? And that's the issue. I feel like that we would have seen Hurts sooner because the boos would have been too loud to not.
And what's weird in a reverse psychology kind of way? You look at last year, how we're struggling last year and the year before that. Wentz responded well to the boos. He always did respond well. So it's kind of like a 2020 moment this year where it's ironic in the fact that the Philly sports boos could have motivated Wentz possibly, and then they're not even there to do that. And he's just in his own head in an empty stadium wondering what everyone's thinking at home.
Right. Yeah. And that's where it's really starting to it's getting really frustrating. And ultimately, like I said, I think that this is a Wentz problem.
Yeah.
At least the play on the field is absolutely a Wentz problem now. Yeah. I used to, like I said, I'm still a supporter of him. I think that he can change. I think he can get back to where he was. I don't know. Do you need to go see a sports psychologist? Maybe is that what needs to have happen? Is it?
Well, Aguilar was doing that when he was there.
Like, maybe that's kind of what it is. I'm also wondering if there is more to the back and head injuries and just the fact that he's been getting hurt and it's been quiet about it. But I was watching him go in the pocket yesterday and it was so bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you watch Carson Wentz back there in that pocket, like you see a guy who's just like when you look at his face, there's like 1,000 things that are going on, and you can clearly tell, his fundamentals are off. Like when he sees, the pocket collapse, like after 2 seconds, like he feels it, like he feels the pressure coming onto him, and that is what's forcing some of these bad decisions, these bad throws, the lack of fundamentals. It's tough. And the fact that he's the type of QB, we all talk about how he's the gunslinger. He likes to gamble. He likes to take a couple risks here and there. But, he still is trying to win Super Bowls on some of these plays. And with the talent he has around him right now, and it's not really clicking, it's tough. It's just tough for him. It really is. And the play calling I've been critical about every week. And even when Jalen Hurts was out there, Jalen gave a spark to this offense. I will give you that. But I still felt like the play calling was still dull even when Jalen was there. But you heard him. He said it. I wanted to go out there and I wanted to make an imprint, and I think he did.
And kind of playing off what you're saying, I mean, Carson Wentz, who's he throwing to in his mind? This might be why he's trying to win the Super Bowl, like you said, on every play. He's throwing to Travis Fulgham, who's dropping balls now.
Yeah, what happened to him?
Hightower's not doing nothing. He's throwing to Jeffrey, who snitches on him all the time. These are the guys that he's dropping back and throwing to. Rager, rookie. I mean, he's not beating anyone one-on-one right now. That's why he's trying to do too much, I think. And I think it all goes back to the drafting of Howie Roseman and the mistakes he's made in that draft room with Doug Peterson in his ear. So Doug's in this too on these drafts.
Yeah. So and that brings me back to Jeffrey Lurie, because Jeffrey Lurie said something at the very beginning of the year that my brother's a big football guy, played offensive line and stuff like that. So he's really knowledgeable, and he also is very astute to listening to when the owner speaks. And he brought back up to me saying that Jeffrey Lurie announced at the very beginning of the season that he has copious notes on how the draft went and who was the one that made the decision for Rager over Jefferson. Or Taylor Whiteside over Metcalf. So he's got those notes and he knows what's going on. Jeffrey Lurie is smart enough to know that he is a hands-off owner, that he's going to let the football people make football decisions. And I'm beginning to believe that I would rather have Howie back in the office where he's just dealing with the contracts. The last time somebody started dealing with the contracts, though, and was only dealing with the contracts, it became bitter because of all the different things that was happening that way. You know what I mean? And it's, and I don't even want to talk about that guy's name, just because every time I say it, it angers me. And the fact that he's now somebody who even talks about this organization still angers me. But it's still like, because I feel like that he killed us, or he killed our chance, back in that, like the 2004, 2005, 2006. All of that, he killed the chance for a Super Bowl and to be us, moving in that direction. So, I feel like that's same narrative is happening now. It's the same exact narrative. Like, I'm smarter than everybody else in the room. You know what I mean? And and I used to think that it was ego. But now I believe it's more bravado. You know what I mean? I am the smart one, and I am this, and I am that. And I feel like that's coming from Howie. I don't think that this is Doug Peterson. I think Doug Peterson's too honest in his press conferences. Like, he doesn't have a good poker face. He's just real honest about what it is that he says and how he feels. And, although he backs up his players and backs up his coaches and takes the responsibility, he is not the problem. He is not the problem.
I think next year's draft is simple. I just don't want Howie anywhere near that draft room. That's it. That's all I want.
Good luck with that.
And the Eagles organization as a whole, we do not draft linebackers in the first round. We do not do receivers in the first round, exception Rager. I mean, this has been a last 20 years kind of thing, not even recently. Like going back to what you were saying, Jamie. I mean, it's been a problem organizationally for a very long time as far as getting these playmakers on the outside and getting a dominant linebacker who can make plays. I mean, we just don't value linebackers, and that is frustrating to me.
I think what's more frustrating is we don't develop in general. Like, I feel like when we find a good player, it's just because they're like naturally talented. Like Miles Sanders, I feel like is naturally talented at football. But like, I'm tired of seeing these different organizations like your Pittsburghs, your New Englands, your Green Bays that just literally find guys out of nowhere and they constantly develop him. Devontae Adams, like I did not realize Devontae Adams was from the 2014 draft class. But he slowly developed and he grew while Green Bay still had Randall Cobb and Jordy Nelson. He was still learning and he was hungry. And there's just like this culture of just constantly learning and developing. And like, I just don't feel that in Philly. And that's why you're seeing guys like Sidney Jones and Russell Douglas and Nelson Aguilar who are going other places and are contributing, because those places, it's probably like a culture where it's more, leans towards, development. And that's an issue as well. We get good players, but we can't turn them into, all Pro Bowl players.
Playing off what you said, I mean, two players that jump in my mind right away, players that have left early in their career at Philadelphia and had success elsewhere. Look at players like Patrick Chung, went to the Patriots and had, a decade of success, won a couple Super Bowls. Even Aguilar with the Raiders this year, he's playing well. I mean, he's had a couple drops, but he's playing a lot better now than he was in Philly. I mean,
he looks like a legit receiver.
Yeah, and so it's not just that. Like, so, and I am so tired. Like, I'm going to talk about the defense here for a minute. I am so tired of the no turnovers, and that is a mentality. That is a mentality. And the fact that we can't ever do a blitz, that there's never a blitz. We blitz like 13% of the time, maybe, and that goes to play. All right, so our guys are going to get beat because you got to go man to man, and he's always going to go zone. It's the way that he does things, so it's always zone. That's why we don't ever blitz. We got to get that. We got to get the pressure. But when we're not getting the pressure, so like, all right, we're not getting the pressure. He's got all day back there. We're not going to blitz, which means that he's going to be able to just throw passes. And what was he? He was like, just about 31 for or 21, 25 for 34. 130 passer rating, just under 130 passer rating. And you know what? The fact that we didn't blitz means that he don't make a mistake, because he's got all the time in the world not to make a mistake. And this is, when every quarterback, when Daniel Jones has got that type of time, you know what I mean? That he doesn't have, he can think about it. I could be back there being the quarterback. I can't throw worth a damn, and I could still be making plays back there. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. That's the issue. And then you have like missed assignments. Oh my Lord! These that one guy, I guess he was a tight end, who was open by 20 yards. 20 yards. There was nobody around him. He threw a lame duck up there. It was like such a weak throw by Rodgers. It was such a terrible throw, but it didn't matter because ain't nobody around. Guy sat there, wrote a poem, ate a sandwich, and then caught the ball and scored a touchdown. You know what I mean? And it was ridiculous.
It's great that you bring that up, because, I remember listening to the broadcast with Tony Romo, and he said one of the keys for the Eagles defense against, this lethal Packers offense is, you need your linebackers and your defensive line to have that eye discipline, because, what Green Bay likes to do a lot is they do a lot of those motions. They like to throw you off on that pre-snap. And you, as a linebacker, as a defensive lineman, you need to keep your eyes straight. You can't fall for these little hoaxes that Green Bay like to throw to you offensively. There was no discipline. There was no discipline on a lot of those things. And I, it's tough because I like Alex Singleton. I like TJ Edwards because they're giving you effort. But it's like what Kyle said. Like, we don't draft stud linebackers. And I would love to see what this defense would look like if you just had one stud linebacker, just one. I would love to know what that would look like.
Could you imagine see a Patrick Willis type in the middle of the defense? I mean, my God. I wouldn't even had a dream about something like that.
And it would make the other linebackers' jobs easier.
Trotter, I guess that's the last name that comes to mind. I could think that was like that dominant in the middle. I mean, going back to Jim Schwartz, the defense is actually playing decent this year statistically.
That D-line's been pretty solid.
It is not satisfying Philadelphia's taste. We are Jim Johnson's type city defense. We like to be in your face, and we do not do that. We back people off the line of scrimmage in third and longs, and I mean that's what Jim Schwartz does. He does not pressure. He does not play push at the line of scrimmage. He doesn't do any of that. He is a bend but do not break defense. That's his mantra. I mean, statistically, it's working, but you know.
Yeah, well, it works. It works when you're scoring 24 to 30 points a game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, when you're not, when you can't get above 17 points, you know, or I mean, really 16 points because we got a kicker who can't kick. I want the kicker bus. I don't care. Cut him. Cut that guy. You know, I don't care. You can't make extra points. You can't kick on my team. Get off my field. I can make extra points. I can kick. You know, so I don't want to
Philly sports guy also kicks without a shoe too, so it might be a good idea.
I'm not going barefoot. I'm not Tony Franklin in any way. But
we're doing Tony Franklin.
But I'm telling you, it's just poor. Again, anytime you start to get a little bit of momentum, it's the wind is taken out of your sails because you can't kick the extra point.
Yeah.
You can't kick the extra point.
That's frustrating.
So bad. Just so bad.
So let me ask you guys. So, I mean, obviously everyone's talking about the controversy now. There is a controversy in Philly with the QB position. I'm obviously a little younger, but last night when I was watching the game with my girlfriend's dad, he brought up the Rodney Peete and the Randall Cunningham situation, and how there's a little bit of similarities here. You know, Randall, when he was here in the beginning of his career, he could do no wrong. You know, he was a highlight reel player, and you know he kind of took that dip, and then obviously Rodney Peete took the job away from Randall. Do you see the similarities here with this QB controversy in that one?
No. Randall was having a really tough year that year. You know what I mean? And the Randall experiment was over at that point.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It really was done. And Rodney came in and, it was just a lot. I think that Randall's early career translated poorly once Buddy Ryan was gone. You know, and ultimately it just didn't work anymore. So, and we didn't have the weapons to be able to do that. So it took a lot different of a mindset. You know, and so I guess, you know, to go back to your question, that maybe because it's the mindset now. It's the mindset where Wentz feels like he's got to play hero ball. And, you know, we just need to be able to hit the receiver when he's open, not trying to get the big play, not thinking like you at this point, you got to throw it to the guy and he's got to be able to catch the ball. If he drops the ball, it's his fault.
Yeah.
But you got to stop thinking about it and overthinking it. And I feel like that's a lot of the issue.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't remember us having a controversy like this. Like even like Nick Foles and Mike Vick, like those guys had an open competition. None of them was like your franchise QB. So we thought really. So I mean, I can't pinpoint a situation like this. I've never been in these waters or these waters.
And I've been talking a lot about this to my buddies all week. I mean, Carson Wentz is our bird in hand right now. I mean, we don't want to look too far at the two birds in the bush because we do have a bird in hand. There's very few quarterbacks out there like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning who just plug in for the next 15 years, no questions asked, at least 10 wins. Look at players like Matt Ryan. That's a franchise quarterback. How many losing seasons have the Falcons had over the last 10? 2, 3, 4 probably. I mean, people go through struggles. Wentz is struggling right now. You got to look at the beginning of the year. A lot of injuries, a lot of inconsistencies. The play calling's been bad. My worst fear is letting him go and seeing him succeed elsewhere and not realizing what we had and understanding that we're going to have – this year's been horrible. It's been horrible. But there could be better days ahead.
Oh, we lost Kyle.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
He
That could very well be. See, 2020 happens again.
Kyle's talking about 2020 and vanished.
I tell you, and just I mean, I hear what he's saying there, but so it brings me to the next question and makes me say, well, what is a worthwhile trade for Wentz?
Are we talking like at the end of the season?
If so, Reich, doesn't make it to the Super Bowl this year with Rivers, and then all of a sudden, okay, now he's going to try to make a play for Carson Wentz. Is one, there he goes. There he goes. 2020 happens again. So I just to repeat the question, I said, so we're at the end of the season now. Frank Reich doesn't make it to the Super Bowl with Rivers, and he wants to make a play for Carson Wentz. What's a worthwhile trade? 2 first-round picks do it?
Ooh. I mean, I was saying if we can get 1 first round, I'd be jumping up and down.
No, 1 first round's not enough as far as I'm concerned.
But we're talking about a QB who's like fallen off though, with all that money.
Doesn't matter. That's why it doesn't matter. I mean, because everybody else in the world outside of Philadelphia says you got to stick with Wentz.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at players like Foles. I mean, he got that contract with the Jaguars. The Bears took a chance on him, all based on really 1 playoff run. I mean, so these quarterbacks, once they put together the body of work on film, these GMs, these coaches, they see that and they remember that. And Carson Wentz will get a chance elsewhere if we part with him. I think, like, I'm leaning towards 2 first rounders as well as trade value, but I really don't think the Eagles are going to trade him. That's just my gut feeling. I got a feeling week 1 next year, 2021, he's going to be our starting quarterback. But there's going to be a lot of drama along the way to that point.
Well, so let me ask you. So what if, Washington comes out of nowhere? Daniel Snyder's giving you like 3 first rounders, maybe a second and a third. You trading in the division?
Me, absolutely not.
That's the last thing you want to see, right?
Add to the Redskins. I mean, but that he was at the end of his career. Imagine that. My God,
I disagree. I would absolutely, because then I would know that he's not going to do very well. The Washington football team is traditionally ridiculously bad with quarterbacks. And it doesn't matter who. I mean, because the Eagles have given a few quarterbacks to Washington, and they all go to die. So, and before I go to this one question that somebody asked, I want to ask, who starts next week?
Ooh, the question of the week. Go ahead, Kyle. I'll let you go first.
I think that Doug's going to start Hurts next week because I think Doug feels as if his job's on the line and Wentz is not executing his offense. I think Doug starts Hurts, and I think Hurts plays bad next week too. Saints defense is no joke.
This is a weird one. I mean, I'm on the wagon that I like Kyle. Like, I think that Hurts needs to start. As you guys can clearly tell, I'm a Wentz guy. But, we need to win. Like, this is like the Philly sports guy said, like, tanking is not an option. This isn't the NBA. This is the NFL where you can literally rebuild in one offseason and be a playoff team. So I think you got to go out there and win. I think what Jalen showed you in the second half against Green Bay was enough to say, like, let's just give him a shot. And if it doesn't work, then we'll just have to go back to Carson. The situation is effed at this point right now, right? I'm saying you should start Jalen Hurts, but hearing Doug in the press conferences, like, something tells me maybe Carson might still get another opportunity to start. So this could very well be this week where Carson, this is like the ultimatum. Like, Carson starts, and if again he plays bad, then Jalen's got the job for the rest of the season. And
it could be a good opportunity for Laurie to evaluate who he's got at coach. I mean, if Hurts is in there and struggles, I mean, who you got to blame now? I mean, it's
and to that point too, like, Jeffrey's gone now with what 3 firings as an owner of the Eagles with Ray Rhodes, Andy, and Chip. I feel like after every firing, he's learning a little bit more about how this goes. So I feel like he right now is evaluating every single aspect of his franchise. Like he's taking a lot of notes down. And I think that at the end of the season, depending what happens with this team, he's going to make the right decision based on what he has seen thus far this year.
So I'm going to answer this question. And my belief is that Carson Wentz starts against the Saints.
I think so too.
And I think that in the process of that, he will have a much shorter leash than he did. And I think that actually he'll come out and play pretty well. Ultimately it's going to, there's something that happens when you get benched.
Yeah.
And you start to have to watch the game a little bit. And him taking off, so Hurts was out there. He got sacked 3 times, you know what I mean? But he ran the ball a few times. I feel like that Carson Wentz was indecisive about making the run, and there was a few times. And again, a couple of times, they don't trust the play action pass because they never just hand the ball off. And there was 2 times specifically, I remember, where they should have still handed off the ball instead of trying to pass the ball. But I think that he's going to probably play like his job depends on it.
Yeah.
Because it really does depend on it now. So I believe that he'll start the game. However, you give two bad drives, and you're going to see Hurts out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I got this question from Talk with Taylor, and I figured I had to put that out there. What are your thoughts on the Eagles' chances on still winning the division?
Well, I'm going to separate my bias and my real reality here and go with my reality answer. I think there is no shot that we win this division.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. Reality bias, I think we could run the table. But reality speaking, I've seen nothing that suggests that we can win this division. The Giants are playing so much better. The defense of the Giants is legit. The Washington football team is playing so much better. I mean, the score of the Steelers right now, I'm not sure what the score is, but it was
17-17. They tied it up. And I thought that Washington was going to win this game because the Steelers peaked a little early, and now they're starting to come down. So.
Right, and then you insert Alex Smith on that team. I mean, he's playing good enough. I mean, that's always been his mantra, good enough. He manages the game. He's not playing like Dwayne Haskins, turning the ball over, not really doing much. My money is on the Giants or the football team. That's my reality answer. But my biased answer would be go Birds. Let's run this table and let's get home court in. But
yeah, I don't think that we have the talent to do it. Like I can't play to lose, so I can't quit.
No shot.
I wouldn't say that we don't have the talent. I just don't think we have the team. I don't think this is a complete team right now. They're not playing like a complete team right now. I'm like Kyle, like I want to say, like, and it's very doable to win out and win this division, but I just don't think this team is in the right mind frame to go out and win this division, especially like what you guys just said. Giants are on a roll. Washington football team are playing better too. That Washington football team front line, golly, man, those guys eat. Those guys really do. So yeah, I'm going to say no, they're not going to win this division. And it sucks, but everyone ready for December 23rd?
And I'm right along there with you guys. I can't see us winning this division, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out because really it's going to be Week 16, the Giants and the football team playing to see who's going to win the division. And everybody started off this season that it was the Eagles or the Cowboys that could win this division, and now it's the other two. So it's definitely 2020.
Guys, it's bad when the Eagles have been playing bad, and they got me watching college football because I already want to know what possibilities the Eagles have at rebuilding this team. I was watching some of those games on Saturday. I got my girlfriend's brother, my scout over there. He's watching all the college football games and reporting back to you. But that's at the point I'm at right now. I'm watching college football.
And
Yeah, I can't do that.
the crazy, the crazy thing about our division is it's been so bad the last couple of years. Since 2017, since that Lombardi came down Broad Street, the Eagles have been a mediocre football team.
Yeah.
We have not been good the last 2 years, but Doug still has his job. We're still pretending he won the Super Bowl last year. We haven't been good since.
Well, I think we were just blind because of the runs that we went on those last 2 years.
And winning the division this year would be another blinder. It'd be another deer in the headlight moment. We do not want to keep the same mediocrity going. The Eagles have been one of the most winning franchises since 2000, and I want to keep winning. I don't want to be 9-7. I want to be 11-5. I want to be 12-4. I want to be 13-3. That's what I want.
Yeah, we definitely have to change the culture up, man. I 100% agree with you. We can't just keep, drafting these players because we think that we're changing the wheel here and then patching it up with free agents, because look at our books right now and look at the talent on the field. It just doesn't add up, Howie. It just doesn't.
Yeah, and I hear you. You know what I mean? And and I don't understand why they are doing things that I feel like are anti-productive. So again, this guy wanted to ask. He's like, why do we refuse to run the ball? And I'm only putting this up here because when you see what's happening with the passing game, and you see that our running backs are getting somewhere like 5-6 yards a carry, and we're not running the ball. And like, I feel like that the running plays that they do choose are like, when they start doing well with the run game, then all of a sudden they start to do run plays that they are, hey, we're going to run the ball. We're running the ball. We're going to run it right here. And you got to say, you got to stop us. And they stop them. They're like, oh, well, that didn't work. Well, now we got to go past the ball.
I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, and we saw Jordan Howard get back there yesterday, and you saw a little spark. It was that first drive. That first drive, it looked good, and they just kind of always slowly deteriorate away from the running game. It's so upsetting. It really is. And
I know the Titans got rocked yesterday by the Browns, but I hate watching the Titans because it reminds me of what our offense could be. We have one of the best run-blocking offensive lines in the league. I think it's top 5 statistically, and we don't run the ball. I mean, imagine how much more comfortable Carson Wentz would be in that pocket if he was playing, throwing off play action and playing off the run when you're getting 6 yards a pop. Instead of being 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, you're looking at 3rd and 2s. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense because –
yeah, I mean, but with all the inefficiencies with Carson Wentz in the offense, I would just run the ball until the defense proves that they can stop it.
Sanders had that 20 carry game. That is my
yes.
mind-blowing. He's averaging 6 yards a pop, and you won't give him the ball 20 times. Why? Someone please explain that to me.
And he's probably super frustrated by it too. You can see with his drops and some of his, he's putting his head down. He looks frustrated out there.
Yeah, and I don't understand. So beyond that, I don't know who's designing the plays. This is play design is the worst part about this. It would almost be better to go 2 tight ends and a wishbone with two running backs and just pitch it off and stuff like that. That's part of some of the issue that I feel like is.
Look at the 2 tight end formation packages they ran. Was the best offense in NFL history. I mean, we had 2 top 10 tight ends on our team, and they both can block. Or not really, but Goddard can block.
And you know what else too? In the Seattle game, I noticed that the tunnel screen with Jalen Reagor was working. I think they ran it 3 times, and they faked it once, and then you saw the Dallas Goedert touchdown. But in this game, I didn't even see it once.
Washington just took the lead 20-17.
Wow. Oh, man.
And I think there's 5 minutes left. 2 minutes left to go in the 4th.
I cannot wait to see Pittsburgh TikTok after this if they lose.
Oh, wait to see my TikTok if Pittsburgh loses. Oh man.
I'm going to have to follow it too. Come on now. We're all taking a slice.
Exactly.
So are we? So what else is next about this game? Or are we going to move on to Nolans?
Well, so we should talk a little bit about New Orleans. I mean, hell, they are number 1 in the conference. They have their backup quarterback, who's really probably who's really this makes me feel like because he's doing so well that he is handing Breeze his hat. Like, hey, it's time to go. Because he's been playing pretty well. Now the defense has stepped up a little bit, but not great. Yeah.
Could this be like the 2015 Broncos when they just stumble in the playoffs? They benched Peyton. Obviously, Drew is out because of injury. It's a little different, but could they go on a run and Drew walks out with his last Super Bowl ring? Like, could this be that year for New Orleans?
I think this is Drew Brees. I don't know if he's going to retire. He's been speculating retirement the last 2 years, actually, the last 2 off seasons. So, I mean, they're 10-1. They're the best team in the conference. This could be Drew Brees' attempt at a Peyton Manning-esque retirement here. I mean, so we'll see what happens. But I think he gets the ball back once he's able to go. But Taysom Hill's been playing well. He's been carrying that team, yeah.
So the main storyline for me, of course, is the return of Malk, man. It's going to be so weird seeing him in that gold and probably white. They're probably going to wear the white and golds, but oh, man. And it's someone we missed too, because even last year when the defense is looking lost, you would see Malk and straighten out guys, and we really missed that vocal leader. We really, I know we didn't want to pay Malk, and I get it, but damn, you miss so much, like the play on the field and the voice that he is in the locker room. Like, damn, I miss Malk.
Well, and I hear you, and I got a whole bunch of people talking about real fast. I got to put this out here.
Interception for Washington.
Yeah, everybody's updating us on the Pittsburgh.
What's wrong with you, Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I tell you, Pittsburgh is coming. I tell you, all three of us are going to be able to do a little dance, I'm sure. You know what I mean? We get all the Pittsburgh hate. So game ain't over yet, though. There's still a little bit over 2 minutes. Pittsburgh's got a timeout, so they're going to wind up getting the ball back, probably down 6. So I still don't give it up yet, but because there's 2 minutes and 5 seconds yet, so there's going to still be some things that happen there. A game is not over yet, but it's like I said. I think that Malcolm Jenkins has lost that. I can imagine though that he's going to be raring to play this game.
Oh yeah, he had this circle the minute it came out.
So I expect. My thought is that I feel like that he may give. Like you're going to see him even get a few penalties, like that he's going to kind of play that kind of way, almost dirty. But
well, I mean, so the last time we faced off against a mobile quarterback was Lamar Jackson, right? Or am I missing someone?
No, Lamar was probably it.
Well, Daniel Jones, I guess too. You can put out there. It worries me a little bit because if they decide to start doing some of those read options, Sean Payton is smart. He's no idiot. He knows the weaknesses on this defense. And I know when teams run that read option, that's so hard for us to stop. And Taysom can throw a little bit. I really hope that this defensive line has stepped up this season. And even Hargrave at points has gotten better throughout the last couple games. But that's really what I'm going to be looking at. How do we contain Taysom Hill because he is a dual threat QB?
Yeah, and that's I don't know that I don't think it's going to matter because I think that they will score 21 points and we
score more 20. Can we at least try to do that? Even if we lose, can we just try to score 20 points?
I don't think we can.
Oh my god.
And I mean, so I saw a stat against Atlanta that they hadn't let up a touchdown in 42 drives. That 5 games they had not let up a touchdown until Atlanta scored in the fourth quarter. I mean, there's something to be said for that. You know what I mean? It's like that's not simple to make happen. Mm-hmm. Even somebody is going to score accidentally. So for 5 games to not let up a touchdown. And if I remember correctly, the Saints had something similar happen like that last year, where that defense went on this ridiculous run. And
almost like they had a good team around them, and that can pick up when the QB goes down. Teddy Bridgewater went 5-0 last year when Drew Brees went down. I mean, right. Nate Sudfeld ain't winning no 5 games for us. But, we don't know about Jalen Hurts yet, but we'll see. But we got to remember about Jalen Hurts too. I know the hype's all about Jalen. he was 5 or 12 with a pick too. I mean, he didn't play lights out this game,
Right?
By any means. So we got to see the whole package throughout the whole game with Jalen Hurts in there and see what he can do. But I don't know.
I feel like that. I said it's. I think that Carson Wentz will come out and actually play a little bit. I think that he's going to start the game. He's going to probably go down the field and score.
And he's not going to announce the start until game time anyway. It's just he's not going to.
Well, wouldn't you hope that they would Doug would at least make this decision in his head like today, so that we can, if Jalen is the QB, he can be prepared on Sunday for a full game plan.
At least give him a whisper in the ear. Yeah,
he knows it already. He knows it already. There's no doubt in my mind that he knows who he's going to start. And the reason why I feel like that he's going to give them both reps is because he's going to start Wentz. And that's because ultimately that's what you would do. That's what you would do. Like, if this happened a week ago, last week, this past game would have been the game that you would have given the very short leash to.
Yeah.
Now this is the game that you have the very short leash to. And that's what's going to wind up happening. So I feel like that it's going to be Wentz is going to get there. He'll probably score a touchdown. He may probably look better than he has all season long because he just sat on the bench for a half. Think about the game that when after McNabb got benched. You get a fire under your ass. You know what I mean? All of a sudden now things change. So I am hoping that that's what happens.
Yeah.
Now, can he hold that up? Can that withstand? I don't know that answer.
We're gonna find out a lot, man. We're gonna find a lot about this whole entire team in the next 4 weeks.
I feel like that this, like I said, I think that it's not. It doesn't matter. I don't think that we have the talent.
Yeah.
To win a game. I feel like there's only going to be one more game that we win, and that's going to be against the Cowboys. And after that, I mean, we'll probably lose to Washington. I can't see us beating Arizona even though they're going into a slump.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and the most ridiculous part about all of this is that if we win next week, and we go to that propels us to go to Arizona and win. And then we win against Dallas. Now we've got a 3-game winning streak. To think that that's how crazy that could even sound.
I mean, back to Kyle's point, like, I don't know if I want that anymore. Like, I don't know if I want another run. And I know it's fun. Like, the runs the last 3 years have been the most fun I've had in sports in general. But I don't know if I want to go through another run with the clear issues we have, and then how he's going to keep his job. He's going to make another draft class that's going to be absolutely god awful. So I don't know if
I don't know that that's the case. I
haven't seen him
can't take away this season. You still can't take away this season. So I mean, as an owner, hey, listen, we're 3-8-1, which means that we cannot even hit 500. So making the playoffs isn't a consolation prize here. You know what I mean? It tells me that, all right, so if they win, that tells me that Doug was able to work it out. But that doesn't mean that Howie gets off the hook. You know what I mean? He was the one that said that this was a good enough team. He was the one that said, okay, this is what we've got going now.
Yeah, I mean,
that's how that is. And Jeffrey, you can't be blind to it. You cannot be blind to it because you saw the picture of him wearing his mask, angry, just bitter angry.
Yeah, even if we don't fire Howie, he might get the Chip Kelly boot to the other side of the other side of the office there, but get his own little new office in a different role, same salary, but we got to bring someone else in to make these draft picks. That's for sure.
I mean, I already said it. Like, I feel at the end of the year, no matter what happens, I feel like Doug and Howie will still be here, which I wouldn't be completely mad at. I mean, I think that Howie can still do the negotiation part about it, but like I said, like, I don't want to see Howie doing the drafts anymore. And with Doug, like I would have been fine if you would just rebuild this whole offensive staff, bring in a real offensive coordinator, a real QB coach. But like I'm starting to look at it, and is the problem like the relationship between Doug and Carson? Like, is that deteriorated? And if that is the issue, then I don't know if bringing an offensive coordinator is going to be conducive if the relationship with the head coach and the QB is not good.
Yeah, his whole strategy of no OC and like all these minds collectively game planning
That's fucking him up too.
Did not work. I mean, so you need an OC. You need someone with another hat on that can kind of put Doug in this place. Like, listen, Doug, this ain't working. Why don't you run Jalen Rager through the run route here? Why don't we get a little people in motion? Why don't we give the ball to Miles Sanders? I mean, these are all things that we as fans can see. I'm sure there's some other people out there that are like, Doug, knock, knock, like, let me in. Let me help you.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I want to change. I want to change here a little bit and talk about some good stuff here for a second. Up. I think we got a final. 23-17. The Washington football team ends the streak for Pittsburgh. Yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the undefeated Steelers, lost to a team with no name. I love it. Oh, I got to dance. Oh, I got a couple of TikToks planned. Oh, man, you guys are getting hurt today. But I want to ask, how was Costa Rica?
Yes.
It was awesome. The people are great there. I mean, obviously the scenery and the culture and the bungee jumping and zip lining and belaying was all really, really awesome. Love the food.
I saw you sipping on the Imperiales, bro.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good. I love that lager.
Yeah. So it was very, very, very fun. And and affordable. I mean,
yes.
We stayed at a couple pretty decent hotels that had the US dollar prices jacked up. But I mean, when you actually insert yourself into the real culture, I mean, you can do pretty well at a pretty cheap price. So it's nice.
That's what I love to see. Seeing Eagles, like I saw Kyle with his Eagles hat, Eagles shirt, jersey, everything in Costa Rica. I was loving it. I was absolutely loving it.
I kept seeing him in the hot tub, taking his picks for the game. I'm like, damn, I want to go. I could be the Philly sports guy down there. I could do just as fun.
We splurged a couple nights and got the hotel room with the hot tub in it. It was quite glorious. It was nice.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Did you convert?
Almost don't want to come home.
Did you convert any Costa Ricans to some Bird fans?
Oh yeah, actually one of the dudes that follows me, his dad knew the guy who owned one of the hotels we stayed at, so I was actually talking to him. It was pretty funny. Yeah, so
that's crazy.
I do have some Costa Rican followers out there, so that was cool.
That's perfect. They got an Eagles bar even in Costa Rica. Our fandom is worldwide. That's right.
And Kyle, soon you will be known in Colombia too, my man.
We're booking our trip to Colombia.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Time off of work that I just got awarded, so we're gonna be, planning a new little trip. We think very soon.
There you go. Look at that. A second honeymoon. He hasn't even been married for 2 months yet.
Yeah, we do a lot of travel anyway. We travel a lot, so we try to get
he's just trying to escape from the Eagles, bro.
Hey, I understand, because eventually you're going to have a little one, and that's when all life changes. There's that travel starts to stop at that point. So
yeah.
Yeah, congratulations, though. I really, like I said, I wanted to end on a happy note here.
Yes.
We've been so bummed out, for our team for so long. It's good to finally see you back home again, and I'm glad it was a very successful trip, and you had a great time.
Yeah, it was a good time. Appreciate it, guys.
I just wanted to say, look, guys, everyone listening, I know we're all upset right now. I know it sucks what the Eagles are doing to us right now. It's really not fair. It really isn't. Everyone here, the three of us here, will still be watching week in and week out because we love this team. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Philly Sports Guy. We have King Kyle. We have El Parcero Philly. We have 16 days away from Sixers basketball. As a Philly sports fan, I'm really excited about that because this Eagles team, as much as I love them, it's been so frustrating to watch. I got some excitement, man.
And we got
I know
some
you guys.
trade rumors swirling right now. Some Buddy Hield trade rumors are swirling. So
Oh man, don't get me more excited, man.
Well, and I tell you, because I'm glad that it's the Sixers, and well, obviously hockey's probably not going to start, or
Yeah,
may not even happen this year.
it's a mess as always.
And then of course, if we want to be more miserable, we could talk about the Phillies.
Oh God, Zach Wheeler. Is Zach Wheeler getting dealt? What's going on, man?
I am not talking about the Phillies.
More money because they're the only organization that has to deal with the coronavirus. So we're the only ones that went bankrupt. So we have to trade our top 2 starting pitcher. I mean,
Well, I do want to give credit to the NBA. They did do like a corona relief for the teams. It's like $30 million for because of the pay cuts and people losing jobs. So I thought that was really cool. I'm wondering if the MLB will do the same, because if it is in fact the Phillies are broke like they are saying, this little pity party, then maybe that could help and we can keep JT and Jazak and
didn't we just get this big Comcast deal? I mean,
I don't
even want to dive into the Phillies right now.
Yeah, I will roast them. Middleton on down. I wish somebody would buy this team now. That's what I'm tired of the Bucks and Middleton and that whole ownership. I get them out of Philadelphia because they straight suck. They had the biggest. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it.
I know, brother. You're literally saying what I'm feeling, man. I know.
So it's all right. Well, listen, guys. Kyle, I really do appreciate you coming on the show. It was a lot of fun. Definitely talking game, and we're going to have you back at the end of the season here. We're going to be doing another round table discussion on what the Eagles are going to do. It looks like his season's going to end sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
I know, man.
I think another loss and another win by the Giants, and we can't win the division.
Oh,
so
that's
we're that close. We're that close. And I tell you, the moment that happens, I may shave the mohawk.
Oh God!
So
just dye it blue. Just dye it blue and red.
It grows back fast. My hair grows like weed. So it'll come back, and it will come back blue when it does, because it doesn't look like orange is going to be able to fly this year. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. But again, Kyle, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, man.
And again, this is another episode of Birds Breakdown. I really wish that one week we could actually talk about something fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and exciting. And not have to go all the way to Costa Rica to get a good time and talk about a good time on this show. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. So hopefully, and we'll find out who was right. Was it those guys that were right? Were they the ones that say, hey, the hurt starts, or was I right saying that it was Wentz? Stay tuned. Next week, we'll answer that question for you and exactly how it goes. And hopefully the Birds can turn it around a little bit. Show some heart even. I don't care that they lose. Show some heart.
Amen, brother. Amen.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right, Kyle.
Go Birds. Yeah. All right. It's tough. It's tough one.
Yeah,
Go
man.
Birds. Good night.